Alright my friends, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a brand new episode of our Planet Zoo City Zoo build, Tropical Wings Zoo. So my friends, we are back. If you've missed last episode, which was our cinematic test day episode, it's linked above here, my friends. Be sure to go and watch it. Lots of people give me amazing feedback. You all seem to really enjoy that video. But if you've not yet seen it, feel free to go and watch it and then come back. Now what we're going to do in today's episode is we're actually going to be doing some planning. This is going to be one of our 0.5 episodes where there's not going to be any building, but we're going to talk through some of the plans and some of the things that we're going to be doing with Planet Zoo in the foreseeable future. I've been racking my brain over the coming days. I was going to start the aquatic area, but it's just stressed me out too much, and I feel like I have other areas that are better planned, and that's what we're going to be cracking on with. So let me show you what you can expect in the next few episodes. So what I'm going to put on the screen first, ladies and gents, before we crack on with anything, is an updated animal list for this project. Now, if you're new, you may not be aware of this, but we're not using every single animal in the zoo. We've actually hand-picked all of the animals already. It was done by myself, my wife, a few other people. We got the animals down, and these were the ones that we wanted to use in this project. We couldn't choose them all because we weren't really sure how much room we were going to have, and I'm going to be honest with you, by diluting the amount of animals you use in a project, you can better plan, and actually it's more exciting as well because you know what you're going to be building for. Now there's a few changes on the animal list for those that are, you know, up with the animal list and aware with it. You're going to notice on there that I've marked off all the animals that we've used so far. So we don't really need to worry about them anymore. But the one thing that I should, bring to your attention is that the African elephants have now been substituted for the Indian elephants, and I'm going to talk about all that in today's episode. And also the rhino has been added, but it was added a long time ago. But that's actually officially added to the list now. The southern white rhino. And then obviously I put the gemsbok on there as well because they weren't initially going to be used, but they were just perfect for the African area. So they're on the list, but we've marked them off. On top of this, obviously the European DLC's just come out, and so there are some animals that we've added from the European DLC as well. So what I've done is I've added the fire salamander because I don't think you can get enough exhibit animals, especially if you're going to do reptile houses or amphibian houses and stuff. I think they really help. I've added the Eurasian lynx as well because I just think it is utterly beautiful. It really is. I love it. And we've added the ibex as well because I actually think that that's an animal that will give our zoo something really special. Now what I've done is I've kept the deer off of here for now, but if we do have room at a point, and I think they might be perfect for a certain area that I'll plan very deep down the line, I may add them at a later date. But for now, they're not on the list, but they're the new animals. That's the current animal list. Feel free to pause, take it in, note it down. Lots of people suggest animals on a regular basis in the comment section that are not on this list, and so I think this was one of the reasons why I wanted to give it to you, and so you could see an updated list and the animals that we're working towards in the project. Okay, my friends, so let's get into the planning. Now, I should have said this in the introduction and all that stuff, but I'm got to be a bit quiet, okay? If I sound like I'm not like really enthusiastic and my voice isn't like really raised like it usually is, I apologise, but obviously I'm recording this really late at night, and both my wife and my daughter are asleep, okay? It's gone midnight. So just for some context, this is when I record videos very late because I'm an insomniac, but I have to be really quiet. But anyway, let's get into the planning. So we're going to start with Adventure Africa, gang. I think it makes sense to start over here because this is the part of the zoo that we've been working on the most recently, basically. And it's the bit that's fresher in my mind, and it is the bit that I've probably got the most ideas, the best ideas, and the majority of it planned out. Now, things have changed where Adventure Africa is concerned. When we were planning this out a while back, the lions and the African elephants were going to be the other side of the road. Basically, where you see that backlot building, that side there, we were going to do lions and we were going to do the elephants. We were basically going to do a few of the African animals over there. But what I've done is I've decided to make some changes. Obviously, I've shown you the revised animal list. We've removed the African elephants and we're now going to be using the Indian elephants. And the reason for this is, and we're going to get into it in the next part of the video, is that I'm doing an Asian inspired area. I'm going to use a few of the Asian species that we've got, and I feel like now that the Indian elephant makes more sense. But what it has done is it's helped me condense the African animals a bit more, and I'm hopefully, if all things go to plan, going to be able to get all of Adventure Africa on this side of the road. I'm aware that obviously we've got primates of Africa the other side, and we've got like the Aldabras, and they're an African species along with the Nile monitor and stuff, but there's a few that we're allowed to slip through the net because they're more of an experience, whereas this here is kind of what we were going with for Adventure Africa. So what we're going to be doing, and I want you to keep an open mind, this is a really loose plan. You're going to see lots of things popping up on the screen, and I don't want you to look at them and take the size as like gospel, as that's exactly what it's going to be like. Things will change. We had this when we were planning the first bit of Adventure Africa, and that has turned out fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to start placing all of the animals that we've got left for Adventure Africa in this area. What I'm going to do on the left hand side of the screen, I'm going to put up all the animals that we've got left. So we've got the common ostrich, the southern white rhino, the West African lion, the African wild dog, reticulated giraffe, the plain zebra, and the Thompson gazelle. So we actually don't have too many animals, and I think getting rid of the African elephant for the Indian one makes a lot of sense because it really has condensed it down amazing for us. I'm aware that we do have the African penguin, the pygmy hippo, and the free lemur species, but I've got plans for all of those species in other places of the zoo. I just thought it'd be way too much to try and fit all that in here, and it didn't really make sense, so I'm going to do other stuff with those animals. So first on the screen, what you're going to see is a bit of a weird shape, but this is going to represent some backstage stuff. There is obviously going to be more backstage like throughout this whole area, but this is going to be a condensed area of backstage, and what I want to place here is basically a big hub where we're going to have a small veterinary clinic, because we don't have one this side of the road, and I actually think it would make sense, and it's something the zoo would do. So we're going to have a small veterinary clinic, we're going to have a bigger kitchen, so a bigger food prep area for the animals, and we're also going to have a big food storage area. So think of a big barn, or think of a big area where all of the food would be stored and stuff, and we're going to make this like into one kind of like big complex in this area. Obviously this will all be hidden, it'll all be behind the scenes, won't be seen by the guests, but it's an area that I think we're going to need, and we are obviously going to pull roads off in this. I haven't represented the roads, and the backlot stuff is going to be kind of represented in the shapes that you're going to see on the screen for each of the animals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go up, down, left to right. So next animal that I'm going to, the first of the animals that I'm going to put up there is the lions, gang. Now, I'm not sure if the lions are going to go here or if they're going to go closer to the tunnel. Now, I should have said that little black strip across the road, that's going to represent where the other tunnel for Adventure Africa is going to begin. Basically, we want people to come in one end and go out the other. So it's, so the path around the zoo kind of works better. So that's how it's going to work. So that's the tunnel there, but I'm not sure if the lions are going to go here or they're going to go the other end. It really depends on space and if we can make it work. If I can get the lions the other end, we might be able to do a predator-prey type thing where from certain viewpoints it looks like they're in the habitats. It's a really popular thing that zoos do, but for now I'm just going to put the lions here, and also I think it makes more sense because of the access to the road and stuff like that, because we're going to have big backlot buildings for these animals. All of the backlot stuff for each of the animals is obviously just going to be represented in each of the shapes, like I've already said. If we move down, the next animal I'm thinking of doing is the southern white rhino, and I'm actually going to pair them with the common ostrich. It's something that zoos do. I did think about doing a big savanna type area, similar to, a lot of zoos, like at Colchester Zoo, for instance, which is a local zoo to me. They've got the giraffe, zebra, the rhino and the ostrich all in the same habitat. I thought about doing this, but I think it, for us, it might make sense to just split a few of the animals up, and we can then put gates in and stuff and make it look like they can feed into each other. I think we can get around this and make it really cool, really clever. And plus, some of the habs I want to do indoor viewing areas, whereas others I don't. Like for instance, I think the rhino one might be a cool one to potentially have, just kind of like the outdoor stuff. But then the giraffe one, I'd like to do a raised platform that potentially is like a feeding platform, but I'd also like to do a section where you could potentially view the giraffes in a bit more of a private area. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. But that's kind of my feeling. I'm going to go for the rhinos and the ostriches together. It's a really good pairing, and I think it will make for a really cool habitat. If we then move up close to the road again, you're going to see a long strip next, and this is going to be for the African wild dogs. I've said a million times how I want to do the African wild dog exhibit, and I want it to be a very, very long habitat, but I want there to be high and low viewing sections. So we're going to start high and we're going to come down into a glass section that's going to be in the middle, where you're going to be able to see a bit more of an up close and personal view of the animals. I'm not sure if you're going to view them I'm not sure where I'm going to put the path yet, so I'm not sure if you're going to look down in or if you're going to look down over. It's really complicated, but I kind of got an idea for that. And then the last hab we're going to talk about is going to be the giraffe, but they're also going to be in a multiple hab, and they're going to go in with the plain zebra and the Thompson gazelle. They're really popular animals in zoos to be kept with the giraffes, and I think that this will afford us enough room for all these animals. It will afford us enough room to get all the housing done, and I think that all of these animals in this area will look really cool as well. If you actually think about Adventure Africa, the way that it evolves is actually really nice. You've got your hyenas, then your warthog, then you get some small species in your meerkats, your aardvark, you've got your gemsbok, your fennec fox, and then you're coming into your big ticket animals, really, aren't you? You're thinking about your lions, your rhinos, your giraffes, but it's all going to be in this area. And what I'm now going to do is just put up a really dark section in the middle, and I'm going to try to leave the area really open in the middle because I want this to feel almost like it's a savannah-esque type experience. And what we're going to try to do in this area, and the reason I'm leaving it so open, is we're going to do big pathed areas. We do need to leave room for things like toilets, potentially some more food stations, but also right in the middle, I want to do like an African-inspired ranger station. So I want it to be a raised tower, and we're going to take the path up to the top, and it will be like a big viewing platform where you'll be able to look out on the entire African adventure area, and you'll also probably be able to look over the road into what you're going to be seeing next. I think it's a really cool idea. I've seen a few things. I've seen some examples of zoos doing similar stuff to this as well, and I think it could make for really, really good viewing in the zoo and really finish off Adventure Africa in a cool style. Now, obviously, like I said, go into this with an open mind. This is a very, very loose plan. I'm sure as we go along, it will change. More things will get added, but if we can fit all of these animals this side of the road, it will cap off the African adventure area amazingly. Okay, gang, so we move in to the next part now, and as you can see on the screen, we've got the representation of like the area that we're going to talk about. So we're going to be moving from we're moving on from where the Aldabras, the end of Primates of Africa, and the Nile Monitor house is, and we're going to be building off to the side. Now, once again, I've put the little black rectangle there to represent the tunnel, so you know exactly where that tunnel is going to be. Now, the big one I'm going to put on the screen right now is that of the Indian elephants. Now, I'm putting a huge area here for the elephants because they're going to need a big yard. I'm hoping to do like a really realistic elephant build here as well, so we're going to have a big elephant house. I'm really undecided if I'm going to do an indoor-outdoor thing. I'm really not sure how I feel about doing the whole indoor viewing section for these. I think I would rather concentrate on doing just a beautiful outdoor kind of like viewing area, but we'll see. We'll definitely see how we're going to go about it with the elephants. Now, that is exactly where I see them, because we've already got kind of like our roads in place for the behind the scenes stuff. We've already got that building there in place, so we know what way our roads are going to go off. So I know that's exactly where I want to put the elephants on this part. And I feel like it's a really good segue that you come out of Africa and then you see these amazing animals as you go through this small section of our Asian animals. The reason why I'm only going to name a few of the Asian animals for this part is because I do have plans to do an Asian inspired area where we do an indoor-outdoor sort of experience. I'm thinking about doing the Malaysian tapir, the clouded leopards as part of that. And there's a few other species I think that we could throw in there and make it really, really cool and really, really special. The other habitat that I'm definitely certain on and sort of the position of it is the Komodo dragons. Now, I'm going to put them just after the aldabras and the Nile monitors. I think it's a perfect place because it continues that sort of reptilian feel. But what we're going to do with these guys is we're going to do almost like a Giants of Komodo exhibit. We're going to do this big sort of indoor kind of exhibit. For anyone that's been to London Zoo, if you think about the David Attenborough exhibit that they've got for the Komodos there, I want to do something really, really similar. So it's like a big indoor enclosure for the animals. We'll keep multiple animals and stuff, and go really heavy on how it looks and the education and whatnot, and we'll make it like another like really, really cool experience. Obviously, I am very aware that we're going to be going from quite a few houses into another one, but after that it's going to start to get broken up because you're going to get the elephants and the other two species I'm thinking about doing in this area, but I'm not going to represent them on the map because I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to put them. But I'm going to do the babirusa and the sun bear in this area as well. I feel like all these Asian species that I've selected are, I think they'll work really well together, but they're, three of them are species I've never built habitats for, so I think it'll be cool to get them in the zoo. And I just feel like they will work in this area. They're not really going to work for the Asian-inspired house, so I just feel like if we could do some more open exhibits for them, the babirusa, I'm pretty sure they're going to go, probably going to go down the road of a similar habitat to the warthogs, so I think that'll be a really, really cool one, really open. A really open hab. And the sun bears, I've kind of got this idea of banking the hab, so it being really high at the back and we bank it down, because I did say a while back that I wanted to bring the level of the land up in this area a little bit anyway, but if we bank at the back and we come down really low towards the front and give them plenty of room to move around and whatnot, and I just think we could really create some really, really cool habitats here for the animals. And so they're the four that I'm initially going to plan, and then I guess when we move on up into the zoo, we'll complete the set with all the other Asian animals we've got. But that is pretty much it. Africa is 100% set. I'm probably going to actually continue on with Adventure Africa. I think it makes sense to get that area finished because I know what I'm doing there, and then we'll move on to these guys. And then, by the time that's done, I'd imagine I will then be able to come back and actually give you my plans for the aquatic area. I know you was all expecting that next, and I think quite a few people were really excited to see what I could do with that, but I've just stressed myself out massively with it because I'm not planned, and I just feel like I need so much room to really do it justice and really do it the way I want to. But with this stuff, I've got more of an idea, and I think we're in a good place to get cracking with it. So there you have it, my friends. We are done and dusted for another episode of Tropical Wings Zoo. I do hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I know it's a bit different. A planning episode is not for everybody, but I love to do this sort of thing. I love telling you, how I see the zoo panning out and keeping you guys up to date, because I know you're not as heavily involved with this project as you have been some of my others, but I still like to get your feedback in the comment section below. I would always love to hear if you think I'm doing the right things or if I'm making mistakes, because it does happen, my friends. So do let me know what you make of the plans in the comment section below if you've taken the time to watch today's episode. But that is it. If you're new around here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It'd be very much appreciated by me, and drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. But until next time, my friends, stay safe, stay humble, and I will see you real soon.